Hi, welcome to On the Couch with Gbutterfly, and today we have none other than Aaron Evans, who's going to sit and tell us about his journey of being a father to a 5-year-old daughter. He'll be here in a snap. Right. Please introduce yourself to the Gbutterfly audience.
Well, my name is Aaron J. Evans, and I'm her son.
So this is going to be a very laid-back interview, y'all. This is not going to be anything that's scripted. I do have questions because I wrote them out. These questions are going to be used for everyone that I'm going to interview. So that's why you're going to see me looking down on my paper, but we're going to sit and just engage back and forth. So why did you agree to this interview?
Because Gbutterfly TV. I see the bigger picture of Gbutterfly TV, and I know this video is going to make history. It's $1 million interview right here.
You heard that?
$1 million
interview with Aaron. Okay. Did you have any apprehensions about sitting down for this interview?
No, not at all.
No, why not?
I know the energy we have, and I have nothing to hide. And so I just know everything gonna be organic, and this is what they need to see. They need to see the generations of who Gbutterfly is and what she created. So I feel like it's gonna be it's a deeper look into who you are.
Okay, well, you heard that. He said a deeper look. I like that, a deeper look into who Gbutterfly TV is. And I'm glad y'all decided to sit here with us and listen to this interview about his journey of being a father to a 5-year-old daughter. Or should I say 6? She'll be 6 by the time you see this interview. Okay, so tell us a little bit. Where did you grow up?
Well, let me go back to where I was born. I was born in Galveston, Texas.
But why did he have to think about where he was born, y'all?
I was gonna joke, but yeah, Galveston. We moved to Houston when I was 3, right?
About 3, 4 years
old.
Yeah,
so I moved to Houston when I was 3. Really on the southwest side. Then once I
grew up on the southwest side of Houston.
Southwest side of Houston.
So what kind of streets would you say over there on the southwest side?
Fondren, Alport, Gessner.
Okay.
Belford. You know, if you from the southwest, you know the southwest.
Oh, okay.
Then that was middle school. Yeah, middle school we moved to 2003. We moved to the Hiram Clark area.
Hiram Clark. Okay, so that's still kind of southwest, but moving a little bit kind of southeast. It's a little east of that southwest side, but sometimes it's still considered southwest. Okay, so we moved over to the Hiram Clark area.
And that's when I went to. I still was going to middle school on the southwest side, but high school it was really the heart of that Hiram Clark area. So I think I'm more so diverse in that aspect.
Okay, you say high school. So what you want to tell them what high school you went to here in Houston?
The old James Madison High School, not the new one that you might see, but the old one.
Okay, so we've already discussed that you have one daughter, because that was my next question. I usually ask, okay, did you have a boy? Did you have a girl? But if you've been following Gbutterfly for a while, you know that the little baby butterfly London, that's who we're talking about, and that's Aaron's daughter. How old were you when you had your first child?
25. 25.
Do you feel like your age had an impact on your ability to parent your child?
I think that I waited and had her when I was 25. It was way better than if I was to have her at a younger age. I feel like I was mature enough to take on the responsibility, because if I was to go back some years, I don't know how it would work.
Okay, so it had an impact and made you a little bit more prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did becoming a parent change you?
I took life more serious, because before then, I would say that I wasn't really attached to anything. So I would get into a situation and not thinking of like the consequences. Not saying I was doing anything bad or anything, but I just didn't have that. This could happen, and I really didn't have much to lose. I didn't have. Yeah, I'm just gonna say I didn't really have much to lose. But once I became a father, it's like I had everything to lose. Mm-hmm. So it grew me up for the most part. Like I took life serious. I started creating more goals. So I could say it really grew me up.
Okay. What was or is the hardest part about being a father?
Knowing when to click in. And that's broad, but when I say that,
I was getting ready to say, what do you mean you say knowing when to click in?
I work from home, And if I know I have a job to do, I work from my phone, so if I know I got a job to do from my phone, and she want to play at that time, it's a balance. It's like, do I make this money right now, or do I give her the parent time? And if I don't give her that parent time, I will look back and be like, man, that's a moment that I missed.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also balanced because the bills have to get paid. So it's a big balance of being a parent and working from home, working in general, because that's the world we live in. You got to work and you have to be present. So I'm still working. 5 years later, I'm still working on being present at the right moments, and not beating myself up from not taking that time out for myself.
Okay, so that's the hardest part, just that balance thing, because that was the next sub question I was going to ask. When it comes to school, work, and when I mean school, I mean like her, because currently you're not in school. So the work, transportation, finances. So do you find any of that is a challenge for you?
Oh, I have 5 years of practice to get it right. I say the first 5 years I was still trying to learn the formula. So man, the mind, I know you might cut this, but the mind is crazy, because I could have went to a whole nother segue, but I gotta keep it where it was.
No, I mean, if you want to go into another segue, go ahead.
If I didn't, I'm probably the first person I know in the family that like took on the not responsibility, but the role of creating a business and running that business, and still trying to balance like everything else, because I wasn't clocking into a regular 9 to 5 or on somebody else's time and schedule. So everything that I feel like I'm doing is I created the time, the budgeting, the everything. So I think that's the. I was on that way. You're gonna have to cut that too. What was the question?
No, it was about the balancing, trying to balance it all together.
Oh, okay.
You know,
So,
trying to balance being being an adult, being a parent, being able to talk about some of the hardships.
okay.
And I was asking about the finances, you know, other outside influences, or any of those things, or did any of those things you find made it kind of hard, you know, or posed a hindrance when it came to you trying to parent, because you were a new parent?
Well, this was like a year out of moving out and staying on my own. So that was already something to get used to. Then knowing that I had a child on the way, so now I told myself, I said, okay, what you doing right now, you don't know how much it is to afford a child, but you're going to have to make sure that you have just money coming in. So that's when the business was created, and I was able to be at home but still make money. So we was rolling. We had something good going. So we had the money coming in. I was still an in-home parent, and plus I had Bazana help. So everything was rolling good. But like anything, the business was shaky at a certain point. So then I had to start thinking of more ways to make more money, make my business better, but still be active in the moment in the house.
Okay, with London, do you want to tell them what business you started?
I say I started selling pickles.
Your Secret Cup pickles.
Yeah, Secret Cup pickles. I was so it's so crazy, because who knew that you could really make a living off of selling something as simple as pickles? But if you, social media is level all the playing field. If you put it out and you have the right following behind you, they're going to support you. So I was able to make a living off of selling flavored pickles, Kool-Aid pickles.
Okay, and you were able to do that to support your family. Okay.
Transportation, housing, feeding, formula, like doctor visits, all that off of just something I created and put out there, and every day, Monday through Friday, double times on the weekend.
Okay, so you had to balance doing that job, because that was your job, and balance being a father.
Yeah. And I think I made it a little hard on myself, because I wanted Bazana to like stay at home. I just wanted my family together, because in my head, once that baby came, it was like, okay, we gotta still stay tight niche because our relationship, we was always together. So I don't know.
What can you say? I don't know.
Because I could have just kept going and going, but
that's okay. That's okay, because with this interview, I wanted to talk to dads about their journey of being a dad, and that was part of your journey. And you say you wanted your family to stay together. And when he says Bazana is currently his wife, but at the time they were not married, and they were two young adults trying to work it out to be together. They seem to have a close-knit relationship, but now you brought a baby into this dynamic, and this was the first child for both of them. If you had an opportunity, last year I interviewed Bazana for my Mother's Day series. I had four or five interviews out there. I interviewed mothers from different age ranges, and Bazana was one of the interviews. So if you have an opportunity, go on to YouTube and you can find, just type in Mother's Day, Gbutterfly Mother's Day, and you'll be able to see the interview of Bazana. And she told her story from her perspective of being a young mother. And now you have Aaron, who was a young father, because at 24, even though some people have several kids by 24, 25, I'm going to say 24 because at 24, he knew a baby was coming by the time he was 25. So how do you feel like you prepared to be a father? You knew all of this was coming. Did you have any concerns just mentally preparing, knowing that you were getting ready to be responsible for another human being?
Well, this is the part of the interview I've been waiting on, because this is the fun part. So it's really faith. I remember having a conversation in the driveway with Bazana. I was like, all right, London should be here like in what? It was like 6 months. So I was like, we have to do something that will have money just generating in. So that's where the business came in at. But any concerns? I really haven't even been around kids enough to really understand the responsibility that comes with it. I'll tell anybody today, like, man, I didn't know it was gonna be like this. But I think my upbringing really was detrimental on how I even looked at the situation. Because even though I didn't grow up in a household with my dad or had like a big male role model, I really had do you want me to name drop or?
Well, actually, I want to just put a pin in what you just said, because we're going to actually come back to that in our line of questioning. So I'm glad you said that. Okay. So we're going to just put a pin in it right there, and we're going to come back to that. How important was it for you to have your family's support on your journey of becoming a parent?
Looking back at it, it's a must. When they say that it takes a village to raise like a kid, it really takes a village, because doing it by yourself, I feel like I went through anxiety from not getting enough sleep, and to have so much responsibility, I was stressed. So I feel like it hindered my sleep, and it kind of hindered my mindset, which caused me to almost like crash. But I could say through that, the one thing that like stuck was like, I have to be here for London. So that was big to me.
Okay, so it was important for you to have that village around you to help you navigate through those first couple of years of being a parent.
Yeah, most definitely.
And you talked about, and I don't know how far you want to go into this, you talked about how just the stressors of knowing that you had to be responsible for another child kind of catapulted you into this area that you were unfamiliar with when you talked about your anxiety. Do you feel like when you started suffering with the anxiety, and you mentioned that you felt like it came from a stressful place, do you feel like I didn't mean, I said, did you feel like, do you feel like the stressors, and coupled with dealing with anxiety, do you feel like it affected your ability to parent?
It's hard to say, because 2007, 2018, I have,
you mean 2007 or 2017?
2018 and 17.
17 and 18.
I feel like I have some of the best memory, but 17, 18 is really all a blur, because when you mix not sleeping and just just when you wake up, it's on go mode. So I had to I was a machine running on fumes. So I really can't say speak on that time because I really don't remember. But parenting wise, if you look back at the videos, I'm still present, and I'm still. I was still running the business. The business was still bringing in enough money to support our living, and I look back at pictures. My hair looked crazy. I was losing weight. I was looking crazy, but I'm pretty sure London couldn't tell because I was still there. We still threw birthday parties. We still played. We still did everything, but. From the pictures I remember, but for the most part, I don't think it hindered anything.
You mean dealing with the anxiety?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you feel like being a new parent, a new father, for that matter, do you feel like it was stressful?
Yeah, because I had the perfect blueprint of parenting, but on the other hand, being a father, that role within itself. I think that was the stressful part because at this point I'm trying to find out what does it mean to even be a father.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning, I saw it as like a big brother. Like, what would a big brother do for his little sister right now? I didn't feel like that because I knew that was my child, but mindset. Only thing I knew was older brother. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna just treat every situation like I'm like the big brother in this situation, but the love that I gave her was what I feel like was what a father was supposed to feel. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm glad you say that because now we're going to segue into our next question, and I hope I don't get teary-eyed when he starts talking about this. Let me just ask the question.
Don't cry because I'm going to cry too.
But that's all right. But see, the thing is with this interview, I want people to be able to see the perspective from a young male becoming a father. And what was your relationship like with your own dad?
Growing up, so I can say, being real transparent, from one till I say like 10, I remember like him being around when you take us down there or like birthday parties and stuff like that. I remember that.
When you say you take y'all down, where?
So
you may have to when you say being transparent, your parents were divorced.
Yeah.
We got divorced when you were about
I think two
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
We got divorced because we were married. We had 2 sons, and we were divorced when Aaron was about 2 years old. We moved away from Galveston, where his father lived, and we moved to Houston. So I would have to travel back and forth, taking them to Galveston to try to keep them connected to their father and to their grandmother and their parents, their family on that side, even though we had moved away to Houston. Okay, so now you want to pick up from right there, because if someone's watching an interview, you want them to fully understand the dynamic of So go ahead.
So yeah, from that little kid, that's still my dad. Not still my dad, but that's my dad. So you really don't see any wrong. So middle school, your consciousness, you start realizing stuff, and it was one time where it dawned on me where I feel like I wasn't treated fair. And then it's kind of like mentally.
When you say you wasn't treated fair by me at home?
No.
Okay, because you say.
Because middle school, we started to I feel like a part of life, we stopped going down there. And it was just strictly being in Houston and not going to visit him, or whatever the case may be. But I say in middle school, we started picking it back up. We going over there, me and my brother going over there like weekends. And there was one weekend, it was like, well, y'all can't come over because X, Y, and Z, pertaining to the my stepmom and my sister. And at that time, I'm 12 years old. So being told no, that I can't be around because of this X, Y, and Z, then it's like I felt some type of way. So I kind of mentally cut ties, and I don't think we picked up a healthy relationship until my senior year in high school.
Or when you say you cut ties,
So
you cut ties with your father,
with
a relationship?
trying to build a relationship.
Okay.
Because I feel like we wasn't done fairly. It wasn't the same energy that I was given the situation to build a bond. I feel like it wasn't reciprocated back our way.
Mm-hmm.
So mentally, I was like, I don't care to have that relationship. But going towards my senior year, I told myself, if I want something, then I will have to manually do it. I started reaching back out to him. We started going down there and seeing him more because I wanted the relationship. And I felt like at 12 years old, making a decision like that was immature.
Okay.
So,
what was your relationship like with me, your mother?
well, that it was the four of us, which is me, my brother, grandma, and you. It was like it was us four against the world because it was just us. We left Galveston and we all came to Houston, and it was just the four of us. So I felt like it was us against the world. And I know many of days from going to Lamar, going to Galveston, it was just me and you. So I think that's what, just looking back, our bond like really solidified of like when I grew up and matured to who I was becoming. That that's really that's a hard question to answer because our relationship is a great mother and son relationship. It's really I can't pinpoint like anything like that. It's just a good. You see where we at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like when I say great example of parenting, a great person to talk to, a great mentor. I always tell you that you're like the super mom. So.
Oh, that was so sweet. And so, do you feel like the relationship with me and the relationship with your dad, you were able to kind of pull those two things together? And do you pull from that when it's time to parent London?
So I think that's the beauty of it, because on this one hand, you don't really know much, but the beautiful part of that is in my today life, I can see where things would go if I make certain decisions. So a weird way of thinking is I think that situation didn't work was to make the situation of my parents getting a divorce.
Okay.
I feel like that situation helped me today to make better decisions. Not saying that was a bad decision,
mm-hmm.
or not saying it was a good decision, but that thing in life that happened make me more conscious and aware of the decisions I make today.
So when you say that thing, and I guess because remember you're talking to somebody out there, and they probably going to need context to fully understand and be able to follow this
mm-hmm.
interview. So when you say when that thing didn't work, what exactly are you saying?
Well, the marriage, you
okay,
got a divorce, and so
okay.
that which broke a household, so
mm-hmm.
which caused a mother to take her two sons away, and then we didn't have a father figure growing up.
mm-hmm.
So that situation, me going back in life and thinking about, oh man, I wonder how my life would have been if I had like a more masculine role
mm-hmm.
in my life. Would I do this? Would I do that? So that right there helps me make my decisions today, because it's like, what if that situation would have never happened? How far in life would I be, or would it be a difference, if any?
So what was the greatest parenting advice that you received from your dad?
I don't think it was verbal. It was more so the acts. So I remember being little, and when it was birthday time or Christmas time, the toys was like he just knew what toy to get you.
mm-hmm.
So now thinking back at it, it's like the one thing that people love are gifts. So
mm-hmm.
if you could just shower somebody, no, I don't even think that's a good one. Yeah, I don't think he ever just gave me like verbal parenting. So it was really learning from his mistakes. I'll go with that one.
Okay.
The best advice that he gave or showed was some things not to do when it comes to like your children.
Okay, well that's a fair, honest comment. I didn't expect him to say that, but you know, this is your interview,
Yeah.
so honesty is important.
But I feel like today, he's a great dad. But growing up, is certain things that, not saying I've seen anything, but it's the absence. Like, be present. So that's like I said, I'm balancing that out. Don't be absent in the kid's life, because it could be the one thing that really sparks them in life. So if he taught me anything, it's to be present, because now him being present, it really shows me a little bit more about who I am, because I'm half of what he gave me. So yeah, I'll go with that one.
What would you say was the greatest parenting advice you received from your mother?
So it's been a lot of advice, but just like that, I would say it's more so of the action. Just seeing you in action, I'm able to take what I see and kind of mimic that. So when it comes to like being a father, like, you had to play like both roles. So I did see the toughness that you had. And then
you say the toughness.
Yeah, tough.
What you mean? What you mean?
Like,
as far as if you saw me being tough, and you have to not put that, but if you have to, okay, you saw me being tough, and you would have to take what you saw and implement it while you're being a parent to your own child. What do you mean when you say you saw me being tough?
Like dealing with two boys, you can only imagine the how you had to be towards us. So we'll have that, not fear, but that respect to say that, okay, I need to listen. So it was you didn't get loud. I love that, because that's how I work. You don't have to get loud to be heard or to be seen, but it's the tonality or how you move, or just your way of parenting, or your mindset, or just how you maneuver through life is probably one of the greatest lessons that I've learned by watching you. So I think the so balanced, so versatile, just with how everything this weekend, of seeing like the way you feel about family, always want to be there. And you might have to cut this, 'cause I'm trying to find it.
Like
no, I'm trying to find it. Because I was telling Bazana, like, did you just see her in action? You had Bam, then you went down to Galveston, and it's just everything that you do is so family oriented. You can't miss it. But it's just witnessing good parenting hands on. I think that's the best advice, non-verbal advice that I could have gotten. So,
what has been the most difficult period, like time frame of fatherhood for you?
So like I mentioned, I had the business, the Secret Cup business. I attempted to do something else while neglecting the business that I've been building for 3 years. Then once I found out that wasn't the route I wanted to go, I tried to go back and stick with that same business. But if you wasn't nurturing that business like the way that I was in the beginning, then it was going downhill. So that same income wasn't coming in. So financially, I think that's the hardest part. About being a parent, about being an adult, and about being a husband. So the financial part about it has been the hard part.
Okay. So how did you deal with that?
I have an amazing partner. So we came together, and she told me like, just like lead us right. I know you can find it. So I'm like, let me drive. That's metaphorically. She said, let me drive, and you just find it. I know you gonna find it. And here we are a year later. Life is actually better than it's been in the last 5 years.
Okay, that's awesome.
I think finding the right partner to parent with, to build an empire with, build anything with, that's most important, because I wouldn't be here, or I wouldn't have what I have if it wasn't for my partner.
Okay. So the difficult period was transitioning, you having one business and then trying to venture off into your second business. But by doing so, you kind of neglected your first business, and then it was hard to kind of recoup. And once your second business didn't grow or flourish as fast as you wanted it to, or you weren't able to really sustain your family by the second business. And then it was hard to go back to the first one to get it to where you needed it to be able to sustain your family. Okay. The way you were able to deal with it, you and your wife Bazana just was able to have a conversation, and y'all decided to just pivot, go in a different direction, and then now everything is better than it was before.
Totally different direction, but it all works
totally out. Different direction. Well, sometimes God will take you in a direction where you had no idea you was even going to do what it is that now you're doing, but you had to just sit back, pivot, and like you said, you had to listen to your wife versus trying to make all the plans yourself. And when you decided to listen to your wife, you were able to do bigger and better things that benefited your entire family, and ultimately meaning benefited your daughter, since this is about being a father. Do you have any regrets thus far as your parenting and how you've been parenting up until this point? Do you have any regrets, or would have made maybe any changes?
That's a great question. I thought when you was going to interview me, I was just going to be on top of it. But regrets, I want to say no. Because if it happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Okay.
And if it's anything that I disagree with, I could look at myself in the mirror, and, well, if it comes to me, I will recognize it and fix it, which will only be a greater lesson to me. But I feel like that how I've been parenting so far is just raw, in like I'm creating this figure, because many of times my parenting style is, what would you need in this situation? That's with anything. So if I felt like I needed a certain person to say something or to lead me in the right way, that's what I feel like I am for my daughter. So I don't regret anything. But if anything come up, it will like tap me on the shoulder, and I can identify it, and then I will fix it. So I feel like I don't regret anything.
What is the best advice you can give fathers who have very small kids?
Be patient. I know for me, I've been told that I always want stuff like rushed and fast. I need to slow down. So knowing that she's about to be 6, that's a big part of like being patient, because you might want them to start walking, start talking, but it's those moments of their process of growing is beautiful. So you have to just really be patient and be in the moment, be present with them. So that's they gonna want gifts, they gonna want all this stuff, but if you can give them attention, be there, be present, and just be patient. I know that's the best advice that I can give a future father, or a father that is looking for some advice.
I mean, you're saying being present, so you're saying how important it is for a parent, or for a father, since we're talking about fathers, to give his time
Yes, the time. Because we only have our memories. When you look back, or like pictures or videos, when you look back, those are the lessons. Whatever you do, they're like sponges. They just soak it up. You don't want them learning from this or from that, from this. That's your child. I feel like you should want them to learn from you. So you should move as a perfect example of what you would have wanted somebody to move as when you was growing up. Oh, okay. Well, I'll go a different route with it. Don't be fearful. Okay, we're gonna have to cut that because it's kind of like the same question that you just asked.
Well, it was just about for little kids. So now I'm just saying, what is the best advice you can give based on your experience? What's the best advice you can give a parent?
Accept your child for who they are, and really pay attention to the gifts they do have, or the interests that they do have, and just pour into your child, and find the interest on what they interested in. Bond with your kid, and don't let fear dictate how you think, and just move off of faith and love. That's what I say.
That just based on your experience in the last 6 years, I can only imagine the type of advice you could possibly give. Once you've had an opportunity to be a parent for, say, 15, 20 years, you're probably just going to be able to just really expound upon that.
Because I'm going off of like the relationship I have with you. Because like we're here right now having this interview, but the famous Gbutterfly.
So he said I'm already famous.
Yeah, in front of the camera. So I'm behind the camera. So we find that balance in being interested in what, even as the kid, if you're old enough, or you could, a kid in general, if you want that relationship with your parents, find something that they're interested in and bridge that gap. So vice versa with the parents. If your kid is interested in something, find something that you can bridge that gap, and y'all can work together, and that's how empires are made.
Okay. He said that's how empires are made. Now, if you don't know, Aaron has a company right now called
Secret Life Digital.
Secret Life Digital. That's why he said behind the camera, in front of the camera. I like sitting here just chit-chatting on my camera. He likes being behind the camera and has made a business out of it. And he's able to travel and go different places just because of his interest in digital technology. And that's why he was saying that we have that in common. That's not the only thing we have in common, but he was saying try to find something that you find in common with your child, whether they be a small kid, or here we are adults. He's 30 years old and I'm 54. Just find something that you can have a commonality with. Like my oldest son. My son loves to cook, and hopefully I'll have an opportunity to sit on the couch with him and talk about his journey as a father before Father's Day, but I may have to do it after Father's Day because his job keep him working hours that don't really run parallel with mine, and that's okay. But he likes to cook. I like to cook. So that's something that's actually that we have in common. But this is not about my oldest son. This is about Aaron. But I just wanted to show you how he said, find something that you're interested in with your kids. What do you feel like right now is the best part about being a father? Is it something that she does, something that she says, something that you see, something that you've experienced? What's the best part about being a father?
I feel like it's the genuine love she gives. Like having your own child just randomly say, "Oh, I love you," or want to like be in your space. I feel like that's beautiful.
I can agree with that. As a parent, I can definitely agree with that. Just having that unconditional love from your child, and it's really organic. Wouldn't you say that having a love from from your child is very organic? And I think that's something that Aaron can say that we've experienced together as father and mother. That's not what we are. As mother and child, now a young adult, that the love is really organic, and that's a beautiful thing. And I think that's what you're saying you experience with London, is the organic love, when they just give you a hug, just give you a kiss, or like you say, just say I love you. Well, I think we've had an interesting interview here with Aaron talking about his journey as a father to his 6-year-old daughter, London. And this is my first installment of On the Couch with G Butterfly. And I think that's a wrap. What do you think?
It's $1 million interview right now.
That's a wrap. All right. Well, we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.